This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic.
Hey, sweet friends. Welcome back to another podcast. I am so grateful that you choose to spend your precious time with me. You all brighten my day. I don't know if you realize how much I look forward to reading your comments and connecting with you. And I don't know if you all have noticed, but I have been cleaning up my podcast and revamping my channel a little bit. I've been using a software that is supposed to help normalize the sound of my podcast, not on my healings, but just on the podcast. Sometimes it cuts my words a little short. So I don't know if you've noticed, but I am trying to make it easier for you to listen to because I appreciate you so much. So if you notice that, that is what's going on. It's just this call to tighten things up this year. And that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. I'm still laughing about it. I had signed up for a pranic healing class over the weekend. It had been a really long week and I planned out my weekend. So I thought, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to go to the gym, then I'll have this class. And that way, if the class runs late, I don't have to go to the gym in the next morning. So I had it all planned out. Normally, I will lay all my clothes out the night before and have everything ready to go so that I just wake up, do my meditation, everything's laid out, throw on my clothes, and I go. I had just been so tired, y'all. I did not lay my clothes out. I decided to allow myself to sleep a little bit longer. And my body's in such a rhythm that I knew I would wake up at a decent time. So I just went to bed. Well, I slept in a little too long, but that's okay. I meditated. I just decided to throw on something that I wouldn't normally wear to the gym, this doggone tank top that I need to donate because it feels like swimsuit material and it actually smells like swimsuit material. I wore it once before and it fits like a wetsuit. And I like form-fitting clothes, but I don't want to feel like I'm wearing a wetsuit. And I also don't want to smell swimsuit when I'm working out. And I just didn't feel like putting the effort into changing. So I had it on. I figured it's Sunday. The gym's going to be empty. So I get to the gym. I warm up. I was setting up my station. And you won't believe this, but my gym crush was there. I haven't seen him in weeks. I thought he stopped coming. And there I am wearing this doggone tank top that I'm not comfortable in. You ever have those moments where you're not feeling your best? And whether or not other people notice it, it doesn't matter. You know that you didn't put yourself together the way you normally would, and you're not feeling your best. And then you run into someone and you're just thinking, oh, why of all days? It was one of those moments. And I thought, I wish I could go change, but it's too late. I'm here now. It's not just about the physicality. It is about slipping out of alignment. It's this mirror where I slipped out of alignment. I should have had my things ready. I should have done all the things that I know to set myself up for success. I slipped just a tiny bit, and now my gym crush is here. And right as I was about to do my first squat, I unracked my weights, and I heard, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And I know that is a common phrase, but it wasn't used in the context that we're used to hearing it. It was used in the context of a mirror for alignment. How I do one thing is how I do everything. And so what I wanted to talk about is what readiness actually means. It's about listening to what's coming in for you, how you're feeling, and being prepared. Staying spiritually connected even when you're tired. Thinking clearly instead of looping. Feeling emotions without letting them overtake you. Speaking truth without energizing the dysfunction, because you can express it without creating stories around it. And also keeping promises, especially to yourself, because when you're in alignment, you're always ready. You know that you're present, you know it's going to be okay, and you know that you're giving your all and you're showing up as your best. And so when you're doing this inner work, it's when no one is watching. It is those times where, like I was getting dressed in the morning and I knew that I should have taken that tank top off. It didn't feel right, but I didn't listen and I just overrode it. And I know that it may seem really simple, but the further along you get on this path, every little thing matters. One of the things that I've learned with pranic healing is inner reflection and firm resolution And this is where, as a practice for spiritual readiness and development, is you sit and ask, what did I do well? What are some things I could do better? And then you resolve to do it better next time. And you review it from a place of self-honesty and character development, because spiritual maturity is about correcting yourself before life has to. That's why you get those checks where you're like, I want to say this, but let me hold it in. And one of the things I love about a spiritual community and having peers who are friends of mine who are doing this work is we are always forward looking and checking each other on language and what we're energizing and when we're making up stories. So you don't get away with just venting and blaming everyone else. The other part is physical readiness. This is often overlooked in spiritual circles, but physical readiness is spiritual discipline and it's self-respect. One of the things that I'm so grateful that I'm not doing anymore is crash dieting. I train consistently and I eat to nourish my body and I take care of this vessel. I got back to the basics. I talk a lot about the simple things that move the needle, and that's what I do. People don't want to do it because it's not a hack, it's not a quick fix, but it's a daily discipline in all areas. I invest in vitamins, practitioners, energy medicine. I invest in taking care of this vessel because this is how I am speaking to you right now. And my body carries a purpose. Emotional readiness is regulating your emotions. Don't let your emotions drive you. Checking in. Am I centered? Is this leaking my energy or is it lifting me? Do I feel better after this or worse? Releasing the need to vent, and I do it too. I can go on the most terrible rants. I know this about myself. I've been called to tighten that up. There's one thing to vent something, but if you keep looping back to it, now you're energizing it. So it can be sticky. If you have your spiritual connection, spirit will check you. The other thing is mental readiness, and this is about thought hygiene, not living in old stories. Stop wasting your time psychoanalyzing people or situations that don't matter anymore. That's the past. Let's move forward. Reclaim your mental space. At some point, you're going to either evolve or you're going to repeat. We're at a point where this acceleration is happening. I'm sure you felt it. I know I felt it. If you're actually doing your work and you have the solid foundation, you're going to find that you can't tolerate things that you were once able to tolerate. Things begin to feel misaligned and you won't even be doing anything other than staying committed to your path. But because of the acceleration, the gap gets wider. So if someone else is just constantly in chaos and ruled by their emotions and looking for distractions and they aren't truly growing, you'll notice that they become so dense and heavy that you just can't stand it anymore. Certain energies and certain people will physically make me nauseous because the resonance is such a mismatch that I just can't do it anymore. If I am here to serve on a larger scale, my energy must be conserved for that. There's nothing emotional about it. It is clear and it just happens. When you're living in alignment, you don't blame, you reflect. This is part of correct expression. When you notice patterns are repeating, sometimes it's something you might have did in an old past life because there's a lag. So in this time of acceleration, there could be things coming up from long, long ago. So what we're living now, we're planting seeds that are going to hatch in the future because there's a lag, there's a delay. So it's time to stop projecting and start refining. I had this pattern in this lifetime of people who took advantage of me and didn't respect my boundaries. This was my lesson of setting boundaries. When I started setting those boundaries, those people fall away. It still goes back to me. What am I allowing? The moment that we stop blaming everyone and start looking at ourselves, we get our power back. We are the constant in every situation that we attract. Spiritual weightlifting is character development. Looking at yourself. Where did I miss the mark? Was I honest, kind, and patient? Just do little things to build consistency. Cleaning your space. That clears your frequency. Listening to your intuition. Starting with 5 to 10 days of stillness. Laying out your clothes the night before. Whatever the little things are that are coming up for you, this is the time to do it. This is the time to clean it up, not when the storm hits. We want to be ready at all times. We don't want to be reactive. We want to be proactive. So it's showing up now, not when it's convenient. Listening now before it's too late. If you listen now, the whispers don't have to become screams. So this is about tightening up, asking yourself, what are you putting off? Where are you out of integrity? It's those little slippages. I was in a live where they were talking about little things like sharing Netflix passwords with people who are not outside of your family. Or I remember back in the days, it was buying bootleg CDs that stole from the artists. All of those things have a karmic imprint. Going around the rules to try to gimmick a system that benefits you. If you gimmick others, you're going to get gimmicked. Cleaning up those energy lines and getting really clear with your words, your speech, and your actions. Again, we are not perfect. The goal is to be better today than we were yesterday. So with that, I want to go into a healing. You can uncross your arms and legs. And so it is. And the other thing I wanted to say is if the opportunity you've been praying for showed up tomorrow, would you be ready? Energetically, spiritually, emotionally, and mentally? Or would you be scrambling and caught off guard? Because the truth is, when you live in alignment consistently, you're already prepared. So when these things come, you're not shaken like everyone else. This is how you become someone who doesn't have to get ready because you're already in alignment. That is all I wanted to offer. I want to wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.